Hey everybody, April 1st, 2015, April Fool's Day. But I'm not going to do the obvious and do a fool's joke here on anybody. But what I am going to do is, I got a lot of positive feedback due to my rundown on the Black Star Riders crew that we had on our UK tour. And a lot of people wanted me to talk a little bit about the Europe crew. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to do just that. Now, the Europe crew are guys that I've only done one tour with them other than this one before. It was when we toured the UK last year opening for Foreigner, and they're all really good at what they do. These guys, most of them have been with Europe for a number of years, and a team like this is a rare thing to find. These guys really know what they're doing. At the head of it all is Stefan. He is the tour manager. Interesting guy. There are basically two major categories of tour manager I've encountered in my time. There is the loud, brash bull in the china shop who goes in and demands everything and just gets what he wants through complete force of will, if you like. And then you also have the ones who are calm, cool, collected, and nothing seems to faze them. A very good example of that is my buddy Eddie, who tour manages Motorhead. The chaos in that camp is intense, but you never see Eddie lose his cool. And Stefan is very much like from that school of thought. Everything runs smooth because he's got it in hand, and nothing's ever a problem with him. He's a top-notch guy, and we're very lucky to have him working with Europe. Then you have Kulan, who is the lighting guy. Lighting is an art form that I think is very underappreciated in this business. You get guys like Kulan who can almost take like a box of matches and a couple of flashlights and do an incredible light show for a band. But on this tour, he was actually doing the lights for both Black Star Riders and for Europe. The guy's top-notch. If you go look on the Europe website and the Facebook page and see some of the photos of the live shows, you'll see some of the incredible work that Kulan has done. Really cool guy, fun to hang out with, had a lot of laughs with him, and again, we're very happy to have him along. We have probably the one who cracks me up the most, which is Matthias. Matthias is one of the best sound engineers I've ever worked with, and he was doing monitors on this tour. And he was doing monitors for both Black Star Riders and for Europe. And he is a guy who every day I ask him, "How you doing?" And he says, "I'm doing excellent." It's just, I've never seen the guy in a bad mood, but I've never seen him really up either. He's a constant. He's a straight shooter. I'll give you an example. We were playing the first night in Glasgow on this past tour, and I make a point of going out and watching some of the performance of the bands from the side of the stage, and then I'll go out and see some of it from the front. So you get two very different sound profiles, you get two very different views. From the stage I can see how the crowd's reacting, whereas when I step out into the audience I can hear what they're hearing and give that kind of feedback to the various people involved. So on this particular day, I was standing beside Matthias at the monitor board on the side of the stage, and he's like a statue. He's watching the stage like a hawk to make sure if anything goes wrong, he'll leap into action. But I was feeling a little thirsty, and our production office was just off of the backstage area, so I walked over there to grab myself a bottle of water, and thought I'd do the nice thing and bring one for Matthias. Handed it to him, and he kind of nodded, and when the show was over, he came up to me and he said, "Thank you very much for the bottle of water, but I did not need it. What I really needed was to empty my bladder, but you could not help me with that." That gives you an idea of Matthias' personality, but he's so good at what he does. We were doing, later in the tour, we were doing a show in Bristol, and at one point in the song, Ricky Warwick had raised his microphone above his head in triumph at the end of a song, and the microphone stand clipped the edge of one of Jimmy's cymbal stands on his drum kit, and it knocked the microphone out of the stand and sploop right straight into a glass of whiskey that Ricky had sitting on the drum riser. Unbelievable. So Ricky picked it up, managed to get through the rest of the song with the whiskey-soaked microphone, but Mateus was into action as fast as possible. He switched out the microphones. He had it disassembled there on his monitor board. He was cleaning it out while the show was still going on. That's the kind of level of attention that these guys are paying. You have, in addition to those guys, you have the ones that actually take care of the instruments, and that's Jens and Eric. Jens has been along for a while with this band, and he's probably the funniest guy on the crew. He's always cracking people up. He's always in an up mood, and he really knows his stuff. Now Eric is the newest member of the crew. He's a young fellow who is borderline genius when it comes to the technical aspects of guitars and the amplifiers and everything. He's a little bit shy, so I can't say that I really know him that well, but he is the perfect tech for John Norum. John Norum is very meticulous about the sound and the gear. He's always adjusting things. He's always looking for that perfect sound. I've had many long discussions with him about it, and hey, the guy's focused on making sure that you hear the best possible performance that he could deliver. And Eric plays right into that. He makes sure the guitars are in perfect shape, that everything is set up the way that John wants it, and he's right there like an extension of John during the shows to help make any adjustments John feels are necessary to help the show. So there you have a rundown on the people who travel with Europe, and you've heard about Black Star Riders. Now there are two important people who I have not talked about in this, and that's the guys who do the sound. And I'm going to cover them a little bit in their own because I think that they deserve some extra special attention. So, but in the short term, there's a rundown on the Europe crew. I'm back here in Los Angeles in my office in the sunny, warm temperature, having left the cold of England behind. And we're all getting ready for the next run, which is some dates that Europe and Black Star Riders are doing in the US, which will kick off with the Monsters of Rock cruise leaving from Miami down to the Bahamas. Sometimes this job has its perks. In any case, I hope you enjoy it. Spread the word about this log if you want me to keep doing them. The more people that check it out, it obviously motivates me to keep recording them. And for those of you who have been with me, I appreciate all of your support. Talk to you soon.